Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this Maven course and I guess the Maven talk on AI search. We've done multiple of these talks so far, and we're excited to do this one again. This one is actually focused on a very exciting topic for us, which is the AI search ecosystem within Google itself. This is not just a wider AEO geo talk. This is really specific to to Google's AI search ecosystem, particularly AI overview and AI mode. So, on how to master just the search strategy over there and really get brand visibility. So, a little bit about me early on. I'm a growth engineer. Been a search nerd for 15 years, going all the way back to Microsoft and then moving to a bunch of other companies afterwards. I taught the first Reforge course on the topic, but also been teaching on Maven as well, on AEO and JO, whatever you want to call it today. Same also, sort of the teaching stuff aside. I run a company called No Good, which is a growth marketing studio in New York City. Support many scale ups and startups in the space. We've had a lot of success stories around search as well. And then the past 2 years, I've been focused on building Goody, which is a full stack end-to-end AEO platform, helping brands boost visibility and really take control of their AI search presence across ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. We cover the most models, I would say, in the space out of everyone right now, and it's used by many leading brands as well. So let's start by some stats. I'm just gonna run through them really quickly, just telling you that this is obviously real. This is something that is happening, and this is not just a new thing anymore. 58% of searches are 0 clicks. You've probably seen this already somewhere. Visitors on ChatGPT in June, we're talking about in June 2025, 5.4 billion. 25%, 52% of US adults have reported that they're actively using an LLM, more than half of the population. 4.4x is the efficacy of a AI search lead versus conventional search. So it's not just only maybe because you're not getting enough traffic, but the efficacy of that downstream impact is far greater. 50% of ChatGPT links point to a business or a service site, and 47% of searches include a Google AI overview, are showing up on Google AI overview. This is appearance metric. So these are also two other big major statements that we've seen around in the space. By 2028, 50% of brand discovery will happen through generative AI. That's Gartner. But also SEMrush came says by 2028, by 2028, AI search visitors are going to surpass traditional search visitors. This is both statements were made pre-AI mode. Imagine if Google makes AI mode the default, this shift will be much sooner. And already the numbers showing that we're accelerating much sooner, but these are two major statements where we might have to adjust at 2028 to 2026 or potentially 2027. So the change is happening much faster and than clearly anyone anticipated. And if we see AI mode gets rolled out in more countries, but at the same time gets more prominent position in the search experience, I think essentially like when we use the word traditional search for Google, it will eventually be all transitioning to AI search effectively. So this is sort of the CEO of Google and sort of its own view on how the experiment, back then they would call it an experiment, now the reality, how AI overview and AI mode, what's the progress. We're talking about over 1 billion users using AI overview alone. We haven't had too many statements on AI mode yet. And they're planning on scaling a lot of the essentially like the work that they're doing on that front. We've seen Project Astra and Project Mariner. We're going to talk about it in a second. But I feel like this is a better coverage of the AI search ecosystem, particularly within Google here. We have AI overview, AI mode, deep search, and sort of like the powered by Gemini Pro, and they have like, actual like specialized model that there's been a lot of talk about. And then you have Project Astra, sort of this is around being contextually aware, multi-model experience. Project Mariner, also both DeepMind projects Project Mariner is about more of like the equivalent of Operator or Manos, where essentially the operators being taken over and some actions are being taken over that operator. You have circled search and notebook LLM. So essentially, like this is sort of the ecosystem of AI search within Google, and this is sort of also some data around the ads, whether we're going to have ads on top of AI mode. These two screenshots are actually from a Google deck that has been circulating in the past couple of weeks. This is one on the left, Google's own recommendations of how to show up more on AI mode. The other one is screenshots of how ads are going to look on AI mode. This is Google trying to tell CMOs and platforms how they plan on approaching this and how they plan on layering out ads and enabling brands both organically and paid to really show up on AI mode. So how does AI mode even work? What's the underlying technology here? And I asked my friend Claude. I gave it the exact, like, sort of like, after doing quite a bit of research, I gave it the exact points and I said, it helped me visualize this. So I have two visuals here. Thank you, Claude. I think I'm liking the second version, where you have Google AI mode, breaking things down to 5 steps. And I think the first step is, you see a user adding best sneakers for walking. And then we have what we call query fan out, where essentially this query is being turned into subtopics. So you take a topic and you turn it into a bunch of subtopics, and then you start firing a bunch of searches on these respective topics. And this is what's unique, and this is a cutting edge technology that AI modes is using that we haven't seen before, particularly within the Google ecosystem. So you can see here, it breaks that query into multiple queries, and then it's once it's done with the searches that are done here, you have Gemini Pro, is essentially Gemini 2.5 is synthesizing the data, all the results that are being shown, and bringing you this information. So analyzing all of the context, all of the results that are coming, and then synthesizing this information and then bringing it to you. And obviously, there's sort of, it's not looking at it equally. There's some ranking factors that go in here, quality scoring, cross validation, co-occurrency, which are things I'm going to talk about in a second. And then there's a comprehensive answer that you end up seeing. This is slightly different mechanism from how AI overview works. This is really like deep reliance on sort of like, you can say deep search in this, or a query fan out, which is like a new sort of techniques where you're essentially like having multiple topics. It breaks everything into, you can say, multiple keywords or multiple topics, and then it goes out and does multiple searches and bring them back to Gemini to make sense of it and present the information to you. So how AI mode is different from AI overview, I think there's a bunch of factors that you can see here. The primary job of AI overview is essentially a snapshot on top of SERP. Their link behavior is different. The model is using 2.5. I think most of them are starting to use that model now. There's no deep search capabilities, deep research capability. It's not multimodal, and there's no agentic actions, and ads are coming above or under, and it's available across the entire Google ecosystem right now, and it appears for nearly 50% of queries, right? That's for AI overview. For AI mode, it's AI first search session. It's essentially what you see on the left side, and it's not like it doesn't appear to you right away, but you have to actually actively click to activate it, whether on the top, or sometimes right now it's showing you this button and where you're able to click on it to activate AI mode. There's a long form answers with prominent links. It's using Gemini 2.5, but 2.5 by fine-tune for search, and then there's query fan out as well, which is the technique that we talked about. It has deep search capabilities. You will see a lot of the other projects, Astra, Marinere, all of that can be layered on top of that experience. So it's Google's answer to how search can become more agentic, Google answer to how search can become AI native, but all within the Google search experience. AI overview can't possibly achieve that, just given the way it's embedded into the search experience. It was more of like a intermediary step to get to AI mode, and we'll see what come next. And then right now it's available in the US, UK, and India, and it 100% shows in these countries, especially if you're opt-in for individual users. So Gemini it's a multi-model sort of foundational models. It powers a lot of things, it can do a lot, but it's not really fine-tuned for search. It can do a lot, and it can be integrated. It's just similar to ChatGPT and Claude in that sense, where it's not just like really optimized for search. It's optimized. It can do a bunch of other things, but search is also one of the things that it can do. But and then it's not embedded in the search experience, and I don't think it does it's not fine tuned for search, but also the query fan out is not really a mechanism that it uses a completely different mechanism depending on the model that you end up opting in to use. So these are the difference between the three. But I also added Project Astra and Marinere, and you guys can read in details sort of the breakdown and how this sort of like, ecosystem comes together and where it really differs. And Project Astra and Marinere are both are still in beta, so I'm not going to focus a ton on them, but I really think they're super interesting. And you can try like you can go into the Google sort of studio, I believe Search Studio, where you're able or Search Lab where you're able to opt into some of these projects and become a beta user. So what are the factors that are impacting a brand visibility on Google's AI mode and AI overview? So we're talking here about content formatting, content quality. We're also talking about response completeness, natural language, structured data and schema markup, and brand trust and sentiment. I have a more detailed breakdown of these farther down, so I'm gonna like go quickly through it. And I'm telling you, is there a difference between optimizing for AI mode and AI overview versus SEO? That's another question that we get, and I'm going to double down from there. So the answer is obviously yes. However, SEO is foundational for AI optimization. I think that's the answer we always give when we talk about AEO, GEO, is that SEO is the foundation, where this is sort of like think of it as SEO 2.0 to make it easier for everybody. So how to optimize for Google AI mode and AI overview? Well, now that's what AI overview looks like. If you search for any query, you say, what are the best growth marketing agencies? You're gonna get these answers on the right side, and you're gonna go to 4 answers here. We got this for this query. Sometimes it's 7 answers, sometimes 8 answers, sometimes three. It really depends. But this is an example of what we've seen here. When you try to ask the same question or a similar question to AI mode, this is what happens. This is very different from AI overview. It starts thinking, and then it kicks off 6 different searches. This is a query fan out mechanism that is happening. You can see a lot of this kicking off different searches, and then looking across 103 sites. So we move from just one search to 103 or to 6 searches, and from one site to 103 sites. So it's reviewing all of these sites. Gemini does that and then bringing you back the information. So completely different mechanism, thus completely different also playbook. There's an overlap between the two, certainly, but it works differently. So we just have to understand these underlying mechanisms so we can optimize for them accordingly. So, and that's when I do the same search for AI mode, that's exactly what it comes out and says. It says it's referencing 11 sites in this particular area. Obviously this is not to brag, but no good is number one on both. And we gotta sort of like, what I'm trying to say here is AI mode is referenced, and the reference that it's using, it's at least we've seen 2x number of sources that AI overview does. So it's a lot more sources that it end up referencing, and that's because of the query fan out mechanism. If you do the same search, I guarantee you will be getting a higher number of sites referenced in AI mode than you're getting on AI overview. And a lot of the time you will see completely different. It's not the exact sources. Sometimes they're different, and there's some research already out there on sort of like the difference between them. But I really think that you should worry more about how to even optimize for it, which is what I'm going to cover here next. So how do you even dominate an AI mode, and what are the factors that we believe are most impactful here? I will start by, you have some content. The reason why you want to optimize because you have some content. And I always like to start with the heat, or you can call it U-heat, where you add uniqueness now at the top. So which is obviously helpfulness, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. These are sort of like aka good writing, good worthy content, like good writing worthy content. So is this something that we should write about or not? That's the question. A lot of the time in the world of ChatGPT and AI mode, you should have a good reason to write the piece of content. You must offer something unique, a unique perspective, something about your product, a point of view that you have in the space, a guide of sort that comes from you and as a creator, as a researcher, or as a company, and how you see the world from your own perspective. I think there's a place to recreate the same thing, but all I'm saying is the less unique the content, the less likely you're going to rank. So good content is always the foundation of everything, right? So what's next? Well, you gotta make sure that it's discoverable. You gotta have the technical SEO and then the technical AEO. Technical SEO, the web vitals, the site speed, canonicals, redirects, indexation, but also the technical AEO. You got the agent crawlability, rendering, structured data, robots text file, LLM text file. Just make sure that you get the foundation there right. So we start with good content, and then technical SEO, then technical AEO. And then what's next? As we're building this pyramids, we are doing sentiment, UGC, and social signals. Essentially how users talk about you on forums like Reddit and YouTube. very important for AI mode. And then citations and mentions across owned and earned domains. And then at the very top is co-currency. Or co-occurrence. It is essentially, are you consistently referenced across multiple sources? So across these citation and across these UGC and social platforms. So that's really in a nutshell what are the factors. And you can see here your path to AI mode visibility is going to come down to essentially what you do as a brand, and then how models and agents index and evaluate and crawl your site, what we have here. So the foundation, and then all the way at the top, what the internet says about you. So what are the internet says about you is also another thing. So you have sentiment, UGC, citations, and mention, and co-occurrence are becoming very, very important. And you're not who you think you are. You are what the internet says about you. And that's the key difference between AI search, optimization, AO or GEO, and the traditional SEO work that many of us were doing for years. Is now it's what everybody else says about you is impacting you a lot more than even what you say on your own website. And your own website just have become merely a source, just like every other source. I want to pause here and see if you guys have any questions. All right, so moving on to sort of like our AO strategy flywheel. I think you want to do a few things in the world of AO to really make sure that you're actually like cited and you're visible. It's you gotta make sure that you're the source, or you gotta make sure that you're included in a source or replacing a source, being AI friendly, which is a technical part. You got to monitor your presence using a tool that is native to this, and then got to automate your actions. So this is what we call the AO flywheel. This is one that we're doing for a consumer brand, but you can do one for different industries, but it's essentially it's gonna be the same. So you got to be a source and get cited. You got to be included in other sources, and you got to replace a source. So when you can be included, you can replace a source. So answer engine optimization, sort of overview here that I had for you all, which is the own visibility, the earned visibility, the technical optimization, and AI search intelligence. And you want to make sure that you're optimizing against these factors, and we have a clear breakdown. We'll include that in some of the decks that we send out. And I wanted to dive deeper on the technical AO framework, because every time I talk about technical AO, people ask me, what does that even mean? I think it starts with, the ultimate goal. What is it that you're trying to achieve? You want to be read and understood by LLMs and crawlers. So the first part is the core performance and crawlability, which is site speed and core web vital. And then you have URL structure and canonical, and then traditional technical SEO, which is, I'm sure you're all familiar with at this point. And obviously there's a ton of really great guides out there how to make sure your website is really up to par there. And you can use Search Console. You can rely on a lot of the materials that are out there that are already all great and cover this pretty extensively. And then at the top, you have how your site is being rendered. And I think obviously we all know that the models don't do well with JavaScript, complex text. You want to make sure that your website is really just rendered like easily for these LLMs. It can be crawled, and so it does the retrieval mechanism and bring the information up to end users. There's a sitemap and indexation, and robots text file. This is around accessibility and organization. Is the content even accessible? Robots text file is where you say allow, not allow, etc. And then the structured data is this is the top part around smart content signal. Do you have good structured data? As the data is easily read and understood by LLM, well structured, and you have an LLM text file to speak to the LLM and make this information easily parsed out and easily rendered and retrieved by these models. That's exactly what we refer to by technical AEO. I feel like a lot of the time it's where when we deal with different customers and clients, they're often thinking that it's a very technical thing. We want to give you the tools and the ability to be able to do that on your own, and I think that's one step in that direction. We have also like an AO periodic table that breaks down all of the AO factors. We have one that is about to release that is going to include AI mode. I think I have this one literally like the data finalized, and it's being redesigned, and it's going to be published soon. So we'll make sure that we share it with course attendees. And then obviously if you follow us afterwards, you'll be able to get access to this. But essentially what the AO periodic table does, it breaks all of the factors that impact your brand visibility on LLMs, and telling you which factors matter most by model, which factor matters most by search experience, because now we're collecting data on AI mode. We've been collecting data for the past 2 months, and now we're going to be releasing some of this data as part of the AO periodic table. So how to optimize for AO in general, not just AI mode. You got to identify the topics and matters that most for your brands. Conduct the brand audit. Identify the training sources and rack sources. What are the citations that are impacting these models the most? And start creating a content strategy around it, whether an outreach strategy, an engagement strategy, or creating your own content that can be cited and sourced. And then you got to monitor and attribute accordingly to get a sense of what's working and what's not. So there, I have a bunch of additional slides on sort of like the optimization tactics and the specific sort of like, you know, what you should do and details, which I'm gonna skim over. I'm gonna include in the documents afterwards. I think what I covered so far is really what matters here, and the rest are just the details of our specific recommendations on each and every factor. And now how to measure success in AI mode and AI overviews. And I think the it really essentially comes down to the tooling and how you do that on your end. I think obviously for AI mode, you can put different queries and incognito, and you can ask a bunch of questions. And obviously you can, you know, start using tools like, you know, we have a shameless plug here for Goody. You start using tools that track AI mode and can tell you exactly how you're ranking, how your visibility on AI mode, which is in my opinion probably the number one AI search platform you should think about. AI mode and ChatGPT, those are the two leading part, given the distribution advantage that they have over everybody else. But also on the other hand, in AI overview, you get to run target queries. I think you can use different. There's a lot of the traditional SEO monitoring tools are supporting this. We're supporting it also inside our platform within Goody. But it's also, I know that your existing tool likely are supporting it, and you're able to track whether your brand is showing up or for AI overview or not, and for what are the exact terms that it's showing up for. So what we do on our end and what Goody does, we're able to monitor and analyze LLMs and AI search surfaces, all of the surfaces that matters in today. It's included in our platform. Then we help you build and scale an optimization engine around it, where we identify the exact patterns, exact sources, and you're able to take an action on these sources within the platform. And then we help you tie it back to what matters, actually the attribution piece, and tying it back to revenue, tying it back to leads, and making sure that you have this full feedback loop into everything that is appearing at the surface, the specific sort of prompts and topics that you're tracking, and how you're ranking on each and every one, what action to take, what are the gaps, and what are the variables that are impacting your visibility or the lack of. And then when you take that action, is it actually leading to moving the North Star and what matters here to you as a brand? So from research, monitoring, analyzing, optimizing, and attributing, all happening within our platform. I'm gonna leave sometimes to ask questions, but I'm doing this because we have a course coming up as part of Maven, and you know, I'm sure they will have the course details afterwards. I want to see if you have any questions before we wrap up.
Hey Mustafa, how are you? I actually had a question earlier on, but wanted to sort of wait till the end here to kind of jump in. First of all, thank you so much for such an informative presentation. I feel like you're always at the forefront of everything. So thank you so much for being at the forefront of everything, and then also sharing that knowledge with us. It's always super, super helpful. I've been on a couple of these calls, and also am a forever a No Goodie. So definitely really appreciate, No Good just constantly being on top of everything that's kind of going on. But quick question here as well. Where do you think is the biggest opportunity for a small brand that's sort of just starting out to focus on? Where should we just start out right at the beginning? We've done the analysis. We kind of identified some of our, weak points there as well. What do you think the most important thing is for us to focus on from there in order to optimize for AEO and AI search in general?
Ayushi, great to see you here. And I think this is a great question, because I think this is the best time for a smaller brand to start investing in AEO and geo from my perspective, especially that the playing field is leveled, but at the same time, there's something difficult here, which is your digital footprint. You still have to invest in building a digital footprint, but more often than not, you see a brand investing in social, investing in PR. This investment in social and PR is going to have its own benefits on the SEO side of things. I think obviously you got to have crawlable websites. If I go back to the pyramid that I had here, you still have to do all of these things to make sure that you can be up there dancing at the top. good content, technical SEO, technical AO. Technical SEO, the likes of Webflow and WordPress already have a lot of that already built in. You don't have to, or a Shopify, a lot of that is already taken care of. Technical AO is essentially figuring out an LLM text file, robots text file, good structured content. Don't overdo things with JavaScript and make it not crawlable. Or just use like more than needed standard code. And then the top three part is you are what the internet says about you. So if you're able to be a noteworthy brand, whether through virality or manufactured one way or the other through partnership, then you're more likely to get there as a smaller brand. In fact, if I go back to the example that we have here, as a brand, you can see here, this is for AI overview. There's only 4 sources that are deciding who is going to win this box. And we happen to be one of the source, and another partners of ours included us. So we happen to get 2 sources, which is why we're number 1 here. The same thing applies for AI mode. Is obviously bigger brands are going to benefit a lot more, because you can see here it's looking at 103 websites. Smaller brands, how are they going to get on 103 websites? It's going to take a little bit of time to build that digital footprint. But if you're able to identify the 2 or 3 factors that are being cited the most and get on them, you're part of the conversation, and now you're visible. And that's why I think tooling is important here. You can see here 11 sites, and this is where it becomes difficult. We're included in 3 of these sites, and when we analyze this, which is why we're number 1 here. So one of it is we are becoming the source, but at the same time, we're making sure that we're reaching out to other partners and included us in the source, and those are sort of to replace the source, to be included in the source. That's the line between digital PR, relationships, partnerships, and everything in between. So if you are a smaller brand and you're just getting started, make sure that you have content that can be the source, which is the classic investment in SEO. But now you have to be more intentional as what matters to you. But then your review websites, what people say about you on Reddit, what people say about you on YouTube, all of the investment that typically smaller brands do on social is finally going to come back and be valuable for them. Because right now, as I go back here, we're seeing Instagram is getting indexed now. I think 2 weeks ago, Instagram is starting to get indexed. You see that Reddit and YouTube are top 10 sources on the internet for, we actually about to release our most cited domain. Reddit is the most cited domain. I know we've seen other players also release a report. Reddit's the most cited domain. But what we have in our report is that YouTube and LinkedIn are also top 10. So you're seeing that the sources for that the LLM rely on a lot are increasingly becoming social. So the work they investment on social is becoming increasingly valuable here. So hopefully that answered your question, Ayushi, and great to see
definitely.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. I think another question from Ruben. I'm looking at this cool features from Google and other LLMs. I'm thinking, does it make sense to implement semantic search in my company, e-commerce, or we should outsource product discoverability to LLM and chill out? I think I'm not sure what you mean by implementing just semantic search, because I think you should just make sure you describe your product in a way that is understood by your end customers. Don't just upload an image and the price next to it and just generic details, which is what a lot of brands have been doing. Like what are the things that a customer would want to see on the label, and what are the things that a customer would search for, and make sure that you start including that. The way you name the product and the way you describe the product and all the ingredients and all the details that you include are going to matter. When the LLM gets out there and checks out 100-something sites and bring the information back, you are one of the information that are going to be checked, and your product is going to be one of the information that are going to be checked. So in fact, I think it's becoming more important to pay attention to what you're describing as a product. Can you outsource or this piece to an LLM? Can you get LLM helping you actually with describing the product in the best way possible? At the end of the day, yes, the LLM can, but I think that if there's something unique about your product, that's where I would talk about unique and helpfulness. Your product and descriptions of your product has to be unique to you, and it becomes generic like every other product, you're probably not going to get cited, because less unique, less likely of getting cited, because it's the LLMs. Obviously, we've unlocked quite a bit of reasoning capabilities here, and it will be able to tell that. Any other questions? All right. Well, as I said, the course is happening, I believe in October. That's when the course is happening. I should know my course date better. I'm sorry. And then obviously, like if you're interested in AO as a tool, you got Goody. We're also able to help you on the service side with No Good. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to directly reach out. You can find me on on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter, and happy to chat and nerd out on this topic anytime. But I appreciate you taking time and really listening to what we have to share today. Thank you all.